about the lake house. That was the subject line. I stared at it while my 1-year-old son, Lucas, smashed Cheerios in his high chair, babbling something that sounded like Dada, completely unaware that his mother had just blown up our lives with a simple email. Thank you for listening. If this story resonated with you, leave a comment below and subscribe to this channel for more cheating wife stories on YouTube. I clicked it open. No greeting, no explanation. Just 2 scanned documents and 3 cold sentences.
I've filed for divorce and handled the refinance under my name only. It's done, Marcus. Don't make this harder than it needs to be.
Divorce papers. And a refinance on our lake house in South Dakota, with my signature at the bottom of the loan. Except I'd never signed anything. I looked at Lucas, really looked at him. Cheerio dust on his cheeks, that goofy smile, those eyes that trusted me completely. He reached out his sticky hand toward me, wanting to be picked up, and something in my chest cracked open. What was I going to tell him when he was old enough to understand? That his mother forged my name to steal from us? That she chose money and her lover over her own son? That she was willing to leave him without a home so she could start over somewhere sunny? I lifted him out of the high chair and held him close. He smelled like baby shampoo and maple syrup. He had no idea his world was falling apart. I didn't cry. I didn't call Margaret screaming. I held my boy, and I made a decision. Nobody was taking anything from us. Not the house I'd paid for. Not the future I was building for him. Nobody. I picked up the phone and called my lawyer. Margaret had always seen me as the soft one. The husband who handled diaper duty while she networked. The guy, too, focused on his architecture firm to notice bank statements. She thought I'd crumble, sign whatever she wanted, just to make the conflict go away. She forgot that soft doesn't mean stupid. Looking back, the signs had been there for months. Hushed phone calls. A new financial advisor named Tyler she'd met at some investment seminar. Weekend trips to the lake house to clear her head, while I stayed home with Lucas. I'd been too exhausted from late nights at the firm and early mornings with the baby to connect the dots. It started when I found a credit card statement in her coat pocket. Debt I didn't know existed. I dug deeper over the next few weeks, quietly, while Margaret thought I was clueless. What I found made me sick. Hidden accounts, bad investments, and a loan application with my forged signature. When I started digging, I realized it wasn't just an affair. It was a full financial ambush, and Lucas and I were the targets. That's when I installed the cameras at the lake house, top of the line, with audio that uploaded to a cloud server Margaret didn't know existed. I played the devoted husband for 3 more weeks, gathering everything. Tyler had been in the picture longer than I'd realized. He wasn't just some advisor she'd met at a seminar. He was the kind of guy who spots vulnerability and calls it opportunity. Margaret, with her spending habits and her naive architect husband, must have looked like a gift. My lawyer, Sarah, arrived within the hour, already pulling up records on her laptop.
The loan closed 4 days ago. Your signature is forged. This is fraud, Marcus. Serious fraud.
There's more. I pulled up the security feeds. The footage from 2 nights ago showed Margaret and Tyler in the lake house kitchen, his hands on her waist, her laughing into his neck, the kind of closeness that doesn't happen between a client and her financial advisor. But that wasn't what made Sarah's jaw drop. "Play the audio," I said. Tyler's voice filled the room.
Once the bank releases the funds, we pay off everything and disappear for a while. Costa Rica, maybe, somewhere warm where nobody asks questions.
Margaret laughed.
Marcus will never figure it out. He's too busy drawing blueprints and changing diapers to notice anything.
You were always too smart for him,
Tyler said, kissing her forehead.
He built this whole life and never realized how easy it would be to walk away with it.
I stopped the video. My hands were shaking now, but not from fear, from rage. Sarah looked at me carefully.
What do you want to do?
I thought about Lucas, about the lake house where I'd imagined teaching him to fish, about the life I was building for him, brick by brick, and how easily Margaret was willing to tear it down. If I let this slide, I said slowly, what kind of father does that make me? Sarah nodded.
Then we go to the FBI.
My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered anyway.
Marcus,
Margaret's voice, sharp and impatient.
did you get my email? I need you to sign the quitclaim deed. Tyler found a buyer for the lake house. We close in 10 days.
I let the silence stretch.
Marcus, are you there?
I'm here. Just curious, Margaret. When exactly did I sign that loan application? Because I've been looking at my calendar, and I can't find the date. Silence.
What are you talking about? You signed it months ago.
Funny thing about being an architect. I keep records of everything I sign. Want to guess what's not in my files?
Marcus, listen.
No. You listen. My voice was steady now, cold. I know about Tyler. I know about the debt. I know about Costa Rica. And I know you were planning to take everything while Lucas and I slept.
You don't know anything. That house is in my name. The loan is legal. You can't.
Can't what? Prove you forged my signature? Prove you've been planning this for months? I paused. Say goodbye to Lucas for me, Margaret. It might be a while before you see him again. I hung up and blocked her number. Sarah was already on the phone with the FBI field office in Sioux Falls. Within 48 hours, we had a case number and investigators who confirmed the forgery. But I wanted more than justice. I wanted them to feel it. Through the cameras, I watched Margaret and Tyler panic. They moved up the sale timeline, pushing the buyer to close in 5 days. They packed boxes. They talked about flights. They had no idea what was waiting. The night before the closing, I couldn't sleep. I sat in Lucas's room, watching him breathe, this tiny person who depended on me completely. Around 2 a.m., he woke up crying. I lifted him out of the crib and held him against my chest, feeling his heartbeat slow as he calmed down. I'm not going to let anyone take our home, I whispered. Not ever. I promise. He fell back asleep in my arms. I didn't put him down until sunrise. The day of the closing, I drove to Rapid City with Sarah and 2 FBI agents. The title company was a small office on a quiet street, the kind of place where people shake hands and believe everything is legitimate. Margaret and Tyler were already inside. I could see them through the window, sitting at a conference table with the notary and the buyer's agent. Margaret was smiling, wearing the silk blouse I'd bought her for our anniversary. Tyler had his hand on her knee. The notary was flipping through documents when we walked in. Margaret's face went white.
What are you doing here?
Mr. Whitfield, Mrs. Whitfield.
The lead agent showed his badge.
FBI. We have a warrant for your arrest.
Tyler jumped up.
This is a private transaction.
Not anymore.
Sarah stepped forward, laying a folder on the table.
Forged signatures, recorded conversations, flight plans. It's all here.
The notary pushed back from the table like the papers might bite him. The buyer's agent was already on her phone. Margaret turned to me. For the first time, I saw fear in her eyes.
Marcus, please. We can work this out. Think about Lucas.
I'm thinking about Lucas. I stepped closer, my voice low but steady. I'm thinking about the father he deserves, one who doesn't let people steal from his family, one who fights back. Tyler made a break for the back door. An agent had him on the ground in 3 steps. The last thing I saw before they led Margaret out was her face in the patrol car window, mascara running, mouth moving. I didn't need to hear what she was saying. I drove home in silence, the adrenaline slowly draining out of me. When I walked through the door, my mother was there with Lucas. She'd been watching him all day, and from her face I could tell she'd seen the news alerts on her phone. She didn't ask questions. She just handed me my son. I held him tight, burying my face in his hair, and finally let myself cry. All the tension of the past months, the pretending, the planning, the fear that I'd lose everything, came pouring out. Lucas patted my face with his little hand. I wiped my eyes and managed a smile. "Daddy loves you, my little boy. Don't ever forget it." My mother squeezed my shoulder.
You did the right thing, Marcus, for both of you.
I nodded, still holding Lucas. For the first time in months, I could breathe. The charges were serious: forgery, fraud, conspiracy. Tyler had done this before. Other victims, other families. This time, he faced 20 years. Margaret faced 15. During the investigation, the full truth came out. Costa Rica wasn't a fantasy. Tyler had already rented a place there. They'd planned to vanish before anyone figured out what happened. Everything they'd stolen was frozen and returned. The loan was voided. The divorce finalized in 4 months. Margaret got supervised visitation twice a month. The judge used the phrase "demonstrated pattern of deception" when denying her custody request. She tried apologizing, sending long emails about losing herself, about Tyler manipulating her. I never responded. Some doors, once closed, stay closed. The lake house title transferred to my name alone. I had it reappraised. The value had gone up. 6 months later, Lucas and I were on the dock, fishing poles in the water, watching the sun sink behind the Black Hills. He was too little to really fish, but he liked throwing bread to the water and watching the ripples spread. My sister Grace came up that evening with groceries and wine.
"You know what I keep thinking?"
she said, settling into the deck chair beside me. "What?"
"How different things would be if you'd just signed those papers. If you trusted her one more time."
I watched Lucas crouch at the edge of the dock, completely fascinated by his own reflection. I almost did. That first morning, when I got the email, I almost called her to work it out. Then I looked at him. Grace nodded.
"He saved you."
We saved each other. That night, after Lucas was asleep, I hung a new frame in my home office. Not the email, not Margaret's mugshot, the property title. My name, clear and official, on the house where my son would grow up. Underneath, I'd written one line. For Lucas, so he always knows that what's ours stays ours. He wandered in the next morning, rubbing his eyes. I picked him up so he could see. "That's our house, buddy. Nobody can ever take it from us." He nodded seriously, like he understood. Maybe someday he would. I carried him to the kitchen, started the coffee, and watched the sunrise paint the lake gold. Margaret had thought she could sign away our life without me noticing. She was wrong. And now, every morning I woke up in that house with my son. I was building something she could never touch. Thank you for listening. Like the video and subscribe for more cheating wife stories on YouTube and inspirational stories about finding the strength to start over.